Hi.
Oh, hi, are you okay?
Hi. Are you?
Yeah. One day we'll start these without laughing.
No, I don't think we will. I think because normally, like our conversations start laughing, or even our voice
It's
note.
true.
We're not. It's not like a nervous thing because of the camera. It's literally. I think it's something we bring out in each other. To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I love your Christmas jumper.
It's actually something I wear all year.
Okay, that's fine. Bringing Christmas all year round.
But
That's fine.
it is very well. I mean, obviously not in the summer, but yeah. Well, it has been known. It's something I I bought last year in a charity shop because I'm like big on charity shopping. And I bought it thinking it was going to be a dress and thinking that I was still like the same size that I was a few years ago. And got it on and was like, oh no, that's just gonna have to be a jumper. But I do love it because it's like the old fashioned mohairy thing.
Yeah, it's nice. No, do you know what I thought it was initially? I thought it was like bells.
No, it's bows.
Yeah, but I can see now. Sorry, it's bows. So my apologies. And you've got your festive red nails.
I have.
I've got a festive red
You've
lip
got your
apparently.
festive red mouth.
I look like go the clown. I haven't got red lipstick on, so
No,
there's obviously something going on with my um computer. But and my hair looks
you
really
look
blonde
colourful.
as well, and I
Yeah.
haven't got blonde hair, have I?
Well, it's okay. It's like Technicolor you up.
Yeah,
So how was glittering last night? Because that's the first time you've done glittering for a long time, is it not?
yeah. So it was absolutely amazing. Honestly, the atmosphere was just incredible. People were crying when they came in because I suppose like people were so like overwhelmed and like just obviously having that many people together, it was a proper like Christmas party, everyone like dressed up and not like that, but yeah, it was the energy in there, it was amazing, it was like electric, everyone was just so happy, just so grateful, and yeah, it was really really good.
So
um
it was at a hotel, wasn't it? So because we're talking so everyone knows, but like yeah, so
yeah
you were doing your other business, which is your glitter makeup and body painting and things at parties
yeah
and festivals. So this is like a private function, wasn't it? But yeah, so that's it is. I think people are still in awe of when you can actually get together, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
yeah
In
What
any
was
kind of
really
numbers.
interesting as well about it, sorry to cut over you, on the way there, I got really bad anxiety and I had to switch off the radio and I had to like talk myself like when I was on my way there going like just breathe, it's fine. And I was like, what am I so bothered about? I was like this, like driving, talking to myself, what are you so bothered about? Anyway, I got there and set up and it was fine. And the girl that I was with, she arrived and she was the same. She was like, I feel really, really anxious. And I was like, I know exactly the
Mm.
feeling.
Yeah.
It's fine, it'll pass. And obviously, as soon as we started, it was fine, it passed. But everybody then that we were glittering said that they had the exact same experience, just even, getting ready, doing their hair, doing their makeup.
Yeah.
Um, it was just such a strange, it was something that they hadn't done for such a long time, it was such a strange feeling. And yeah, I just developed this sense, but I didn't know what it was over. So it goes to show, like, obviously, what I think, I'm quite a strong headed person, and things like that don't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes to show you know what lockdown has done, in a
What
sense.
it's done.
Yeah, I did feel quite, like, I
Yeah.
suppose, vulnerable is the word. But then what
Yeah.
came of it was people were so much more open, and
Uh,
everyone was just so much more like grateful. So yeah, it was a really cool experience to be in. So I come home, and obviously my dad stayed, obviously to look after Rory. And when I come in, he was up, and I was saying to him, and I was wired.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep probably for about an hour after, because I was like buzzing, just just from the energy and everything. So yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, definitely an adjustment, that couple of hours past my bedtime.
Mm. I know. Past 4 o'clock that we're normally in bed by. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But I think going back to, like, the anxiety thing before, I think that is so common now. And, like,
yeah,
I I can feel it, like, if even doing something like with the family, or something pretty low key, because I've
yeah,
not done anything big. I did do that festival. I worked for you, didn't I? I did
yeah,
the festival in the Foodies Festival in Tatton Park in the summer, and that was an experience as well. But I
yeah,
think people were still pretty ginger,
yeah,
then, about what they were gonna, people were still quite sort of just coming out into it, and it was all
yeah.
outdoors anyway. But yeah, I do think that this, I think the emotion behind the sort of the festive season this year is huge, because people didn't get to experience it last year, did they?
No,
And
it,
we talk about, like, that 21-day habit break. So it takes you 21 days to break out of any habit. How
yeah.
we're now 2 years into it, like,
Oh, it's mad.
we're not in the habit of just freely and easily going out, and
No,
it's
and
taking its toll.
I think as well, one of the things last night is obviously because there's all of this thing. I'm not even going to like bring like talk about it. um, but what I don't know what I can call it. I was going to think of a word for it then, but I can't. But obviously, people are talking now about this new variant.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
that was the thing last night. People are obviously creating that fear, then, aren't they? Of like, oh well,
Mm.
and people are trying to get it in. I suppose getting their party in before, inevitably is there another lockdown coming?
But again,
Um,
amazing how our mindsets have changed in 2 years. That's just a thing. That's just like something that can
it's just
happen now.
normal.
You'd never would have dreamt in a million years, would you, 2 years ago, that oh, well, if there's an illness, we'll just won't go out. Things will be
Yeah.
cancelled. So yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, let's not dwell on
Yeah.
that in a
So
way,
as per
because
usual, we've started a conversation and just gone on about 20 minutes about you and I.
but in fairness, it's relevant because it is the glitch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So for everyone listening, the whole purpose of our little chat today is to
Sorry,
tell
my
everyone.
my phone went then, so it just completely muted. I'm so sorry. I
That's
don't know how that will go
okay.
on the recording.
I was just saying that obviously for everyone listening, the purpose of our chat today is to tell people, I suppose, just in brief, the history about how we met.
Yeah.
And I suppose what's brought us to Soul Sisters, really,
Yeah.
just to give people a little bit of in depth about it, that people haven't just been like, oh, what what is this?
Yeah,
Why?
because I suppose one thing that's interesting to sort of say it first is because the reason we do these on a Zoom is because we don't live anywhere near each other. We're both from the northwest of the UK, but, like, you're in
Yeah,
Wales, aren't you? You're in the north of Wales. I'm in Manchester. Um, we're not from the same place. We have no connection until we were both in Ibiza at the same time, don't we?
yeah. Which was when
It's been over
2012.
13 or
13.
14.
Okay.
We've both been there
So
a while.
somewhere within the region of them 2 years.
I think it was 2013 or 2014, because
Yeah,
I think 2013. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Because you had the salon on Cala de Bow,
Yeah.
and I was working next door in in the tobacconist, which doesn't sound very glamorous, but I was actually doing a promotion. But it
Yeah,
was
no,
a
it was
very,
really cool.
it was
Um
well, it was. Oh, it's not. A promotion is the wrong thing to say. I wasn't promoting cigarettes. I was.
mm,
Yeah, basically, I was working for a particular brand of cigarettes.
how funny is that? Like even then you could promote cigarettes. And
Yeah,
it was
but
a really
gathering
good job to
information.
have then as well, wasn't it? Say this. I remember that. And yeah, I had the salon. I'd got been out the year before, but this was like the first year I had the salon, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so I had a salon and did body painting and glittering. And yeah, I literally just walked into the tobacco next door one day and we met over a packet of fags.
Packet of cigs, and I then came in and had my, because you had a, and how weird is that? So you had the girl working there who was doing hair,
Yeah.
and who did we meet when we
Oh my
went to,
God, yeah.
when we
Yeah,
went to the park
crazy.
together the other week? We met that girl who, and I'd come in to get my hair dyed,
Bailey.
and she was, and that's the first time I've ever seen her again since
Yeah,
that.
so I'd gone
That
over to
salon.
Manchester to meet Francesca,
Yeah.
and I was walking into the park to meet her, Hayley, who worked doing hair in the salon, was
In that
walking out of the
season.
park,
Yeah.
and it was such a strange experience. But we were like, "Oh my God, what is this about?"
Yeah, because
That's what I
we
mean.
were also, it's worth saying, we were on our way to see one of the collaborators, Grounded Manchester, which is the coffee seller
Yeah,
who was
yeah,
in the park that day. So we were going to meet one of our collaborators, meeting up for the first time in a couple of months. And literally the girl who was there, must have been there the day we met, was there randomly.
yeah.
I obviously had no idea she lived around the corner. I didn't even know she was from Manchester, to be fair.
Crazy. You have to get her to
But
your hair.
yeah,
She's such a good hairdresser, just going off track.
yeah,
Um, but there's
yeah,
something
she
in that,
was.
isn't there? Gotta be.
And I felt like I used to watch, because I used to watch next door, and you always had people that you would get someone in, didn't you, to glitter them up, and you would send them off PR in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I literally felt like that was like one of my first like real like instant manifestations, because I remember saying to Ben, my partner at the time, like, I'm gonna be glittered up, and I'm gonna go off parading, promoting that shop next door. And literally the day that I finished the tobacco promotion, you literally just walked into me and was like, "Oh, do you fancy doing some promotion work for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, it is hard, isn't it? There's oh my
Yeah,
God, yeah. So that was our first meeting, and we did just kind of hit it off, really, didn't we? Which is strange because, in all honesty, I don't really. You're a lot more approachable than me, I think.
very much so. You weren't. No, really, no, because you are like you dead. You when I used to watch you at work, your customer service, or like, I want to say bedside manner, but it's not bedside manner, because you're not. It's not a
Give
nurse,
it
but
my all.
like you, the way you spoke to your customers and your clients, and the way you could speak to people while you were, because it was also, as well, it wasn't just glittering. Then you were doing a lot more body painting, so you were working on people for
Yeah,
quite a long time while you were doing the designs and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I would like start hanging around at the salon, because I also got a
People would
railing.
just hang
Remember,
around there, wouldn't they?
people would just, yeah, it was just one of them places.
Yeah.
And I put a rail in
Excuse me,
clothing,
sorry.
because I was selling vintage at the time, so I put a rail in your shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like, I just used to look at you and think, I think I was like I was a bit in awe of you, really, because you were like really, really good looking, and you'd always work like doing whatever, and like you were body painting in Ibiza. It was like, wow, this girl's fucking ace, you know what I mean? And you had your own salon, and it was this, that, and that. But you also, as much as you were like really chatty with everyone that came in, and you really, literally the second you were doing that, you were just like, it was like something came down, you were just like that, completely disinterested in anyone, like just
Yeah.
interested. It's hilarious. So I remember
Yeah.
feeling like, I really want to know her, because she's just not interested. It was like
Yeah.
a bit like a
Quite
cat.
aloof.
I mean,
No, a lot of people say that to me, that I come across really like aloof, like stuck up, and I'm not. I'm not at all. Um, but yeah, I am able to just do that.
now I know you, but actually the skill that you've got with people in a sort of client setting is incredible. Do you know what I mean? It really,
Yeah,
really is.
just not a people.
Um,
Apparently.
friendship, not so much. But no, but I really did like it, and I really respected you. And
Yeah.
again,
I think what I struggled with there was because it was all girls working, and obviously like my best friend was working there. You know, obviously Haley was working there, and we ended up all living together. And what I really struggled with was having that boundary of like, oh my God, we're all living together, we're all mates, we're
yeah,
all going out
yeah,
together, and we're all working together. Um, and I think that's why I try to be like, right, okay, when I'm in work, like this is who I am, sort of thing, to
yeah,
try and
yeah.
create that boundary.
Yeah,
And
because in fairness, those were days when we both still partied a lot. So there was a lot of, we went
yeah,
out a lot with the girls straight after, and you know what I
yeah.
mean? And
But that
it,
is one thing I had. I think like anyone will tell you, you know, obviously Ibiza either it makes you or breaks you, and it will totally and utterly break you at some point. It's just the crazy thing. I mean, we've had this conversation, haven't we, saying that that like our patterns, our paths of going there were like really similar. I ended up going there because I was like heartbroken, and I was just like, oh, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to Ibiza. It was just like get up and go,
yeah,
and it's similar. And it is like an island. You meet a lot of people who are like on their own or they're heartbroken and they're trying to get
mm.
over something. But a lot of that apparently is to do with the Esvedra is made of, is it Esvedra or
It's
that's,
it's the north of the island of Ibiza itself, isn't it?
yeah,
Is rose quartz.
is yeah. So obviously, which is obviously heart healing,
Mm,
um, but also obviously Esvedra the rock is just, I mean, it's so magnetic, isn't it? That
mm.
birds, it is, this is true, that birds can't fly over it because it obviously they get confused where they're going, and people people that live there
No.
by Esvedra have to have like magnets in their houses
Wow, yeah, to counteract the magnetism.
to counteract
Yeah,
it
because
because it actually
because
makes
outside of the poles, it's like the second most magnetic place on the
yeah.
planet, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
that's what it is, and it's like everything happens, you think everything's based on a season, but honest to God, stuff happens there
Mm,
so fast. It's like you break down so fast, but you're made so fast. That's the only way I can describe it. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
um and definitely like when I went there, I was literally heartbroken that, you know, and obviously I'd met, and then I met, you know, Rich, and you know we're together now. I've got a baby with him, and
mm,
I almost
mm,
felt like when I went there, that was my reason for going there. It's like fate, you know.
yeah,
But then what's so crazy is as I've gone on later on in life, the people that I really made a connection with in Ibiza, i.e. you, and you know, there's a few other people, are all of a sudden so prominent in my life now. They're like,
yeah,
you know, so it's just so mad. It is the most magical place, isn't it?
yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
like,
I only came back last year, didn't I? So I was
yeah,
there like 11 years. I think I came back the first winter, but then I just stayed after that because it was, you know, the to and fro. And I didn't like that. I didn't like coming back for the winter because it
no,
was too much of a wow. That's a massive buzzkill. You know, like you're just suddenly like dropping off the end of a roller coaster kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, you know, I luckily ended up being able to teach out there, so I had work in the winter.
yeah,
The hardest thing to get over there.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that's that thing that you're saying about it sort of breaking you and building you back up and bringing. I actually feel like that happened to me over and over again being
yeah,
there. Like it was like shedding layers of yourself. But like right, okay, that, you know, and I can honestly say, like the person who came home at 38 was, well, 37, and the person who left at like 26 were just almost like unrecognizable between the
yeah,
two
yeah.
because I'd changed over and over and over and over again. You
Mm.
know, but that's the same with everyone. But I just think it's everything so intensified.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a
it's so
feeling
intensified there.
you can't explain unless you have go through it. It's just so bizarre. It's like it has definitely got some sort of power. And it's like you fall in love with the island. I felt like when I come home, it's like I just pined for, I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to be there, not for like not to party or anything. I felt like I was in love with the island. That sounds absolutely crazy.
No,
And
it doesn't.
now,
I remember you saying to me years ago that when you walked into Dolt Villa, you felt like you'd been there before the first time.
yeah,
And I had exactly the same feeling in Dolt Villa. I
yeah,
remember one of my best mates, this was when I was only on holiday there. And
yeah,
one of my best friends, was with me, Lindsay, a bloke called Lindsay from Australia. And he walked into Dolt Villa with me, and he could see something in me. Like, he was just like, you fancy a bit of this, don't you? Like, you fancy living here. And I was just
yeah,
like literally, there was just something in that
yeah,
place where I was like, that Dolt Villa, walking in up their drawbridge, and I was just like, I know this place. I don't know why I know this place, but I know this place.
yeah, yeah.
And I just always had my heart set on it. And I remember finally in like 2012 getting my own little apartment just for the winter, because I could never have afforded it in the summer. But like getting my own apartment in the old town of Ibiza
Wow.
town, and just being like, I've made it. Like, I've made this was like a massive dream of mine. I was going to be in Ibiza old town and
Yeah.
write. And that's what I was doing. I got myself this like little notebook, like white notebook thing. But yeah, really. And it was when Ben and I first started seeing each other, and I like had a little Juliet balcony. And I remember like it was like, when you're like in the first thing of romance, and like
Yeah,
just throwing the keys down to him on the little cobbled street, and he'd let himself back up, and it was all like so romantic. And
yeah.
like, yeah, it's incredible. It does have, but I was massively heartbroken before I just decided
Yeah,
to go, because I was like, I was so heartbroken. Someone I was seeing went back to, it wasn't a proper boyfriend really even, but I was madly in love with him, and he went back to Australia. So it was one of those things where you're like, I can never. It wasn't like, oh, there's a chance that this might
yeah,
happen. It
yeah,
was done. There was 10,000 miles between us.
yeah.
And I remember hearing that he was coming back, like for a visit in the summer, and I was like, well, I'm just not going to be. That's how Max. I was like, I know, because
Yeah,
you couldn't face the separation again, like meeting
yeah,
him again,
yeah,
and then it looked like it's the weirdest thing. And I literally, like 2 weeks before, was just like, yeah, I'm going. I'm just gone
yeah.
and never looked back.
I remember when I went to Ibiza, I didn't have a car at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna drive there. Everyone was just like, right, okay. I was like, I'll be fine. So I got a car, and I got this like little KA. And one of my good mates, he was a mechanic, and I said to him, I was like, oh, can you put this through an MOT for me? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Obviously, didn't say I was going to Ibiza. And I remember getting to Ibiza, and honest to God, this car was absolutely unbelievable. Like, we drove all the way, obviously from North Wales to Ibiza. And me and one of my best mates, Nadia. And by the end, by the time we got to Ibiza, we'd lost underneath the car, had like gone off somewhere in France, I think it was. We had no idea like where we were going. I was just like, we're just heading south. Do you know what I mean? All the time, just like no need to go to Barcelona. And I remember like when we got to Barcelona, we could see the ferry, but we couldn't get to it. And
Yeah.
it literally took us about
But
half a day.
Barcelona roads have got like 6 lanes on either side, haven't they? They're like a total nightmare.
So every
Oh my
time
God.
we were going, and we'd like see there it is, and it took us literally honestly about half day just to get to the ferry. And then the ones that go to Ibiza, they're like overnight, aren't they? Is the
Yeah,
overnight
yeah,
ferry?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we'd missed it. So we ended up having to stay in Barcelona the night, and then getting the last night. And anyway, so I remember we got to Ibiza, and we were knackered. It had taken us, I think, about 3 days. We hadn't had a shower or anything. We stunk. We were like knackered. We had nothing left of like the carbs, like overheating and that. And I remember the second we drove off oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. The second we drove off that ferry onto Ibiza, and I put the radio on, and the radio tuned straight away into global Ibiza.
Oh my God.
And the two of us just looked at each other, and we were just like, where the fuck are we? Like, this is amazing. And we were just like driving around there listening to global radio. And I put it on Facebook, you know, at the time, during like Facebook was massive and like all that time. Put it on Facebook. Oh, we've arrived, and a picture of me on the bonnet of the car. Don't mean dead like brash as I was. And my mate messaged me, my mechanic, and he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You driven to Ibiza in that car?" He's like, "I only passed it on an MOT." Like thinking you were just passing it around. He's like, literally passed it for me. And he was like, I never would have passed it for you had I known that you were going to Ibiza. So funny. And you know what? It was the best car I ever had. I had it in Ibiza for the whole duration that I was there.
Wow.
And I've had so many experiences. So the first season that I was there, the night before we left, we went to Bora Bora, and I got robbed. And it was my car keys were in it.
Oh no.
They took my car keys. So I've ended up just leaving, of just abandoning my car. Anyway, got home, found another set of car keys, sent them out to someone. I can't even remember now who I sent them out to. And they went and moved the car or something. And literally we came out 6 months later, and I found the car. It was just like there, abandoned. But literally put the key in it, started straight away. We were like, yeah, good to go, no problem. And I had it every season. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow, that's
I
brilliant.
didn't even have, by the end, window wipers on it. So if you used to go on the dual carriageway from San Antonio to Playa de Mossa, and one day from nowhere, it just this massive torrential storm come, and I had no window wipers.
Oh no.
So I had to pull over literally for like an hour and wait for it to pass. But anyway, to cut a long story short, at the end, when I left, I sold it. And I sold it for more money than what I paid for it in the UK.
Now that is you all over. That whole story is just about, there's not really much more needs that we could ever tell anybody about you.
Yeah, perfect being the KA.
That is like literally, you blagged someone to do you an MOT.
Yeah.
you drove
I like
south,
to think
and that was all
what
you
it
knew,
was is
driving south.
I manifested it.
Brilliant. And then you sold the car for more than you paid for it. Brilliant.
Paid, yeah, so funny.
But
yeah,
it is, I think you do have an air of that, but we both do. This is the thing we both do. Like, even if we try and do something together, it's always the long way round, isn't it? Even like just having a conversation, we go the long way around thing.
Yeah.
There's always that element of it going around. But there is that little thing of we just both are a little bit guided, I think, by something else in our actions. Do you know what I mean? Or there's always somebody looking out for us on the other side. Do you know what I mean? I do feel like that.
I think definitely what it was is in Ibiza, I think when I went there, I wasn't conscious. I wouldn't say that I was a conscious person at all, but I think I knew, I've always known, like from a child, you know, I was different. I just didn't, you know, I've never seen things the way that people see them. Like in school, I would, you know, question, you know, why, you know, why do I need to do that? I just don't understand rules and regulations. And so I would always question them. And I suppose, like you said, you know, I was always like a maverick. But there was a massive element of me as well, which is like, you know, I love being social. I had a massive circle of friends, and I'm really open to everyone. So because of that, I've always like had loads of friends, and I suppose in a way it helped me blend in a little bit, being different, that I had so many friends. Do you understand what I mean?
I do, because I can relate entirely to what you're saying. Like that was always had. Oh, I'd probably say I've always known lots of people and hung around with it, and gone into big groups and being, but yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like how many of them maybe knew me? You know what I mean? In a full sense of
Not at
maybe
all.
not being as, not being what I was always projecting out, which was fun time Frankie kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And actually not being that inside a lot of the time.
So I think when I went to Ibiza, it was almost like that was my, in a way, I definitely feel like I was meant to go there, and it's definitely began like my awakening, I think. Or it definitely, I don't know, like maybe I'd had an awakening, but it definitely highlighted it. It definitely broke me down and made me see, things, and see me. And I had so many ideas, but I didn't know where I was going with them. I couldn't put them into practice. So I think that thing that you said, I would always be like, right, I'm going to do this because that was my idea. But it I don't know, because I wasn't totally conscious, I wasn't really sure. So I just like blagged it. And I think now, all of a sudden, even like the last few months, because I think to myself, God, 2 years ago, I think I was conscious when I come home from my beat, and now I'm like, oh my God, I look back now and think 2 months ago, I'm now even like completely different.
But there is a rapid unveiling going on, and I think people like ourselves who we have to say that when we met each other, and for a long time, afterwards, we weren't this wasn't the road we were on. Do you know what I mean? At that time, do you know what I mean? At all. And it's not a road that we took together, is it? We just sort of happened to both have gone away and done a lot of this kind of soul searching, and looking into alternative ideas, alternative medicines, alternative, it was just something that we'd both done out of necessity, because to be fair, it has come from anxiety, depression, that kind of thing, hasn't it? To sort of look for those things and to find those or breakthroughs of those kind of things.
I think like that when I left Ibiza, for me was just I've been through some things in my life, but I think that year I left, it like was probably the lowest. That like when I think about it now, that like I think in September I ended up coming home, didn't I? And it was just the lowest I've ever been. And I remember being like in such victim mode, and then all of a sudden I was living with a boyfriend, and we were in an apartment, and he'd gone away to work, and I was like completely on my own. And that was the thing as well, like in Ibiza, to go from that place to then all of a sudden being on your own completely is such a hard transition, isn't it? And I remember just being on my own, and something was just like bam, and I was just like, what the fuck, like what the fuck, this is me, like this is me that's created all of this is me that's doing it, what am I doing?
But
And
that's the thing, you'd left with a bit of the tail between your legs at that time, hadn't you? And I was like one of the only people that was left there that you would really communicate with at all. I don't, like, this is my memory of that time, because I remember this. I remember you being in that hole. But obviously I wouldn't have had loads of contact with you, but I do remember that I was one of the only people that you would really sort of be in contact with over there. And of that, we've always had that thread. Of, even though, by no means were we best mates at that time or anything like that.
But we always had a connection.
There was a connection that you still felt safe to contact me, where you didn't at that time really with lots of people. Do you know what I mean?
Which is strange, isn't it? It's not strange, but there was
it is
always a connection. But and I remember just like I literally just slogged it out, you know, for a good 6 months, you know, didn't go out, and just I suppose like sat with it. And to be honest, you know, it has taken a long time, a long time, but yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. But again, that was another path. I think the path that, in a way, there was something that was always going to happen with us, wasn't there? You know, whenever, you know, you worked for me doing bits in Ibiza, whenever I've done festivals like in the UK, you've come over and done them with me. We've tried to set up a business together before doing glitter. We went to Spain doing glitter together when you were 6 months pregnant.
But again, that was like all right intention, wrong timing, you know, all before, wasn't it?
It was, I think,
They're
all
not the festivals and stuff that we've always worked actually very, very well together, like glittering, haven't we? Because it can be hard, like, you know, and especially like I was thinking of Cornwall, where it was literally just, you couldn't even look up, could you, from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, and arriving in like a gale force 50 wind, me still in like my little dress from Ibiza, and it was like a full-on storm, and we went down there, we went and bought some wellies, do you remember, from Primark? Bought these bright pink wellies and went down to the beach to set up, and we started trying to put your tent up, and this guy came over and was like, it's completely cancelled for today, what are you even doing? It's like dangerous winds to be out. Why?
Do you remember what we did? This is how thingy we were like, oh, it's fine, don't worry. And we actually went round the festival selling glitter. Like just saying to people, oh, do you want glitter? Do you want a bit of glitter? Do you want a bit of glitter? And we made, like, we did do some money that night, didn't we? But I think that's it with us. We were just like, oh, we would just get stuck in.
But I remember discovering that like quite early with you as well. Like, and we talk like a lot about our dads and stuff as well, like, because I remember sort of saying to you, like, you know, my dad is one of these people, like, if you rang him and said, can you give me a lift to Scotland tomorrow? He would have gone, yeah, all right, you know, like, and your dad's the same.
Yeah, exactly,
And we both had that in us from them, of this thing of where other people would go, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I do something like that? We would both go, yeah, do you want to come over to Cornwall for like 2 days and just glitter people? Yeah, sound. Or when you shut the salon down, you're still in Ibiza, I'm not. Do you want to go and clear my salon out? I was like, yeah. Like, it didn't cost me a second thought. Like, yeah. The villa I lived in still got your salon chair outside it from 2013. It's just,
it might be worth something now. It's retro.
We have got that, like, that is something where we are like, and I've always had that in me, where I remember being in Ibiza once, and like I lived in San Agustin, which was on one side of the island, and somebody had this woman I was working at the time had my wages, which was like about 500 quid of my week's wages, in Santa Ynez, which was like in the middle of the island, and I just went, I'm gonna go and pick my money up, and I walked, and it took me. Nothing to me. It was just like, I'm just gonna go and get my wages, and about 12 hours later, got home, and I was like, that. What are you doing? I was like, well, there's no buses. It's winter. There's no buses to Santa Ynez. It's in the middle of nowhere. I just walked. He was just like that. Do you mean you walked? And because I only knew the one route, which he used to drop me off to work sometimes. I used to be tutoring this child, like a private tutoring job. And
that is hilarious.
But I used to do it here. Like, I'd just set off. But or I'd walk home at like 5 o'clock in the morning and through the countryside and not think anything of it. And like, I'm not advocating that like as a life, but I'm just saying everyone has to be careful. But I'm just saying that, like, there's something in me and that I see in you of just, there's not the same mental barriers as I see in other people, you know, like where they will stop themselves or talk themselves out of something for any reason, you know, whereas you and I, the automatic response was always why not, like,
but we can't see the the other side to it.
Yeah.
We don't
I'm a
know.
bit less like that since I've become a mum, I have to
Yeah,
be
I
honest,
am.
because
And
probably
also,
because I'm knackered. Like that is
yeah, that's the only
probably
reason why, to be fair. And since lockdown as well, what I really struggle with now is just driving. I just can't be asked. It's not
yeah.
I just hate being on the road. I don't mind, if you go on a, but it's just other drivers, isn't it? Not that anything but other drivers, but it's just UK roads just aren't the places to be, are they?
No, but I think
So
there
that's
is
what I
there
really,
is a definite thing of when, like, I used to get on and off planes on my own without a second
yeah.
thought. I don't drive, so
Same,
I
yeah.
can't compare it to that. But I remember the first time after I'd had Zephyr, I had to come back here on my own because my auntie was ill and Zephyr had no passport, and I had to come and see my auntie because she was going to die. And like, I absolutely shit myself getting on a
Did you?
plane.
Yeah.
I was awful, and I was like, I'd gone to Australia on my own. I'd gone to, like, I just wasn't bothered. Everywhere I ever travelled, I was on my own, really.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally, like, was convinced, absolutely convinced that something was going to happen to that plane, and that Zephyr was going to be left without a mum. And it was that there's that thing of, I think maybe it was a bit, well, not maybe, no, maybe about it. I was very reckless with myself before, and I now feel this need to not be so, because
Yeah.
there's somebody else that needs me, like, to be
Yes.
alive and all right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think that side of it, of, that's the side of parenting that certainly I didn't expect. I expected sleepless nights and expected all that kind of thing, but I didn't expect to really feel a shift in how, I can't describe it. Like it's not I don't think I was particularly when I was selfish before. I was selfish. Maybe it's a bit of a selflessness that you get, but it's innate. You don't think about it. Like, I would never have thought that I couldn't get on a plane until it came to getting on a plane. So there's
Yeah.
like something in you that's just changed, that you didn't anticipate it, or you don't recognize it, but you are in self-preservation mode all the time.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I get it. Like, I know it sounds mad, like me and Rich are going out on Saturday, and it's like our first night out since, obviously, before we
Since
had
yeah.
Rory. And already I'm like that, like, thinking, right, okay, well, what what time am I going to go to bed? Like thinking in my head, because I'm like, oh, I know that obviously I'm going to have the next day, and you just become, it's that carefree is what you lose. I think that's
Yeah,
what we had before, but we were
yeah.
carefree to the point of, like you said, reckless.
Mm,
And what having a baby does is yeah, you can't be as carefree, no matter what anyone says. There's
mm,
no way that you can, I don't believe, because like you said, it's that thought process, isn't it? You're always thinking of the child,
yeah.
really.
But
um
even without consciously thinking of them, that's what I mean. It's like it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
it's in there.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's yeah, it's a very interesting process from there to now.
yeah. I
How
think what's really
different.
interesting, though, is from us then having children is what's really made us, you know I think, like, some, oh, I don't know what's the right term to say that, but some people have children, and it's like having a child for me has really awakened me to do this. Has really been like, I've got to do this now.
Mm,
I don't want to live a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to live routine. I want to do it, for him, and I want to have that freedom of life, and that's what that's given me, is in a sense as well. So as much as it's made me less carefree, it has definitely given me this massive, like, motivation to create the life of my dreams, for Rory.
yeah.
um
I think they actually come with, you see, these children that are born now are like already hardwired for the future. So they are, they don't belong to that sort of time of the past where, you know, you do your 9 to 5 and you do this, you do that. And I
Yeah,
think
no, of
actually
course. Yeah, it's
when
so
they
different.
come
Yeah,
along, you
yeah,
actually, it changes you, it changes your ability to play
yeah,
ball in that old life, because they're
yeah,
bringing that information with them. Definitely, definitely.
yeah. It's interesting. We could literally talk for
I
hours about
know
our
we're gonna have
stories,
to wrap
couldn't
this up,
we?
aren't we, for another night? But yeah,
So yeah, I don't even know if we've covered what we were even going to talk about.
it honestly, it's no importa. No, it's not that
No.
important. But
So that
yeah,
was our
good
part
to,
one of our Ibiza stories. How we met anyway.
yeah, that was
People.
it. That was that. We got there. We did do how we met, and an
Um,
awful lot more.
so yeah, so if you want to find out more about our journeys together, I think the next chat we're going to have is definitely going to be with a collaborator, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're
We've
definitely,
already got some of our collaborators champing at the bit to join us.
yeah.
And yeah, I think it's, you know, it is going to be like a bit of a balance between the two. But yes, it's sorry, that is actually my dog snoring there. That
Oh.
was some random noise from my stomach. Just did a massive. If I didn't have him on my lap, like, he was crying at the door. So it was,
Oh, fine.
right. So
I'm expecting Whiffy to come and jump on the iPad.
Whiffy the cat, Whiffy the manifestation cat.
Yeah. All
That's
right.
another story for another day.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh my God. Yeah. That was I started off in Ibiza, didn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Right. Well, good night, and I shall speak to you tomorrow.
love you not to see. Speak to you later.
Later.
Bye.